Jewel was dealt a very tough hand growing up, and in some ways, it only got worse after she became famous. The four-time Grammy nominee opened up about her tough childhood and her mother's alleged shady financial activities in a new podcast interview, Very Well Mind podcast with host Amy Morin, on Monday. So in this video, we are going to talk about the Jewel accuses her mother of staggering embezzlement. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. The singer-born Atz Kilcher claimed her mom embezzled an unbelievable amount of money from the recording artist early on in her career. I woke up and realized she embezzled all of my money, over US $100 million. The singer revealed during an episode of the Very Well Mind podcast that aired this Monday. I was 34 years old when I realized I'm $3 million in debt, realized my mom stole it, realized everything I thought my mom was isn't what she was. It is a very difficult psychological thing to come to terms with, she went on. Then as I started investigating the truth about what my mom had told me in my life versus what was true, I realized that pretty much everything I formed my reality on was fiction. Jewel spoke about growing up with a father who was physically abusive, while she said her mother was manipulative in different ways. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 8, and we went to live with my dad. Nobody told me it was because my mom didn't want to be a mom. She left us, and so my dad took over raising us. I didn't know that at the time. My dad was this volatile alcoholic that hit me, very easy to identify bad guy. My mom seemed like the opposite. She was calm, she was soft, she never yelled, and obviously never hit me, and I didn't realize I was being abused in another way at the time. The singer was in her early 20s when her immensely popular album, Pieces of You, was released. The album went on to sell over 12 million copies in the US alone as of 2015, Entertainment Weekly notes. But her journey early on was far from easy. After moving out of her abusive home at the age of 16, Jewel was homeless for a year when she turned 18. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now let's get back to our topic. Jewel did not further reveal when Carroll allegedly stole her money, US Weekly reports. Jewel's mother has not publicly responded to the claims. In her 2016 memoir, Never Broken, Jewel also shared the stories about her childhood. I think that anybody that reads the book won't consider this a salacious book, but it is incredibly forthright. Jewel said, "My dad gave me permission. My dad grew up in an abusive household. My dad became abusive. What are cycles of abuse, and what kinds of conversations can we have in America about emotional patterns?" She also detailed how her mother took control of her finances and subsequently led her into debt despite selling millions of albums, according to the book. At the time, Jewel also released a companion album, Picking Up the Pieces. On the album, she dove deep into those relationships on songs like My Father's Daughter, a duet with Dolly Parton, and Family Tree, about learning to live with her family's legacy. "My mom isn't a villain," Jewel said at the time. "My dad isn't a villain. People get some things right, and people get some things wrong. And the song for me, Family Tree, is about looking at that. I think the line is, to take the fruit and choose the seed you want to scatter into the wind." She described her mother telling her things such as, "Our minds are so powerful, and I think you, Jewel, are so powerful that I think you could sit here and stare at this light bulb, and you might be able to get it to turn off with your mind." In turn, Jewel sat there and stared at the light bulb, trying to do something that was impossible. Speaking on the light bulb incident specifically, Jewel said, "That is such an abusive, effed up thing to say, but I felt so loved. What it actually was, my mom didn't want to stay there and be with me, and she babysat me by having me watch light bulbs." Today, the Grammy-winning artist is the co-founder of an app called Innerworld, which helps people struggling with their mental health, especially young entertainers like she was. "I was bar singing as an 8-year-old, she recounts. "I was around predators. I had a very scary life. I had a very terrifying life. And I had a life where adults weren't safe people. Being in connection to people wasn't safe. I didn't have a safe figure growing up, but that's also why I formed our youth foundation, is because there's real hope for kids like that," she adds. Discussing Innerworld and mental health, an initiative and experience that has challenged Jewel for many years, she said about the platform, "You can enter a portal, And now you're in a community space where there will be a live guide 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She then provided a scenario of someone needing help after a pet passes away and needs assistance. The guide could say, "Would you like to see the grief cycle? Would you like to learn about the grief cycle?" They can pull up instantly a visual aid of the grief cycle, and you can start to talk about it. The singer added, "There's a real community, which the side effects of just connection alone are very proven and shown to be incredibly beneficial to people's mental health outcomes. And so it's the safe space where you'll meet people from all walks of life, and it's anonymous." An initiative formed to assist people with social anxiety reaching out for help. Jewel said, "You have a cartoon character that is you, and you get to make up your own name. And so you're meeting real people, sharing real-life problems, but in an anonymous and safe setting." The singer-songwriter shared that she wants her platform to benefit anyone struggling with mental health, no matter their background. It doesn't mean they're broken either. There are so many tools and things we can do to help ourselves with a little bit of guidance, she explained. Jewel, who briefly experienced homelessness after leaving home, did not further reveal when Carroll allegedly stole her money. However, Jewel has since been candid about learning to move on. In August, Jewel was on tour with Train, Blues Traveler, Thunderstorm Arties, and Will Anderson when the bus went up in flames. Luckily, no one was hurt, and Jewel has called the bus driver a hero. Fast forward to today, Jewel, 48, decided to create a non-profit that focused on bettering the youth's mental health. She helped create Inspiring Children in the early 2000s and recently launched her own mental health app, Innerworld. "I didn't have a safe figure growing up," Jewel said. "But that's also why I formed our youth foundation, is because there's real hope for kids like that." Speaking of her childhood, Jewel said, "I was bar singing as an 8-year-old. I was around predators. I had a very scary life. I had a very terrifying life. And I had a life where adults weren't safe people. Being in connection to people wasn't safe." The singer-songwriter shared that she wants her platform to benefit anyone struggling with mental health, no matter their background. It doesn't mean they're broken either. There's so many tools and things we can do to help ourselves with a little bit of guidance, she explained. Jewel skyrocketed to success after her debut album, Pieces of You, was released in 1995. The album became a 12-time platinum record. In August, Jewel was on tour with Train, Blues Traveler, Thunderstorm Arties, and Will Anderson when the bus went up in flames. Luckily, no one was hurt, and Jewel has called the bus driver a hero. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you like this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.